Good morning everyone. This is Aisha Sultana, Assistant Professor of EC Department from ISL Engineering College. For the third year, I am taking the subject of analog communication for this semester. Initially, Srikant sir has taken some of the classes for this subject. From now, I will be continuing this subject. So already sir has taken some introductory part, and he has been I think completed one or two topics, but in today's class I'll just take a quick revision of all the previous topics what sir has already covered. We'll do a quick revision about analog communication, what is actually communication. Then we'll see what are the different kinds of things we'll be seeing in this semester, what are the things that we'll be going through in these subjects. Okay, let's get started with this analog communication. Okay, the first thing what you're having in the mind when when you listen about the communication is nothing but the talking, right? What we are talking is nothing but your communication. Either it may be one-way communication, two-way communication, or numerous. So the communication all deals with the principle of transferring the information or transferring the message from one place to another place. Here the one place to another place indicates that your transmitter and the receiver, isn't it or not? So you are transferring the information or the message from one particular place to the another place, like of destiny. You are transmitting from source to the destination, right? So it involves the transmission and reception and process of information between these two locations. It is completely processing the information, means your message is completely processed between the two signals, two destination or two sources, like one is transmission and another is reception. In between this transmitter and receiver, your whole process is going on, and that process is nothing but your communication. Okay, the high frequency component is termed as, now you'll be getting confused what actually why we are saying about the high frequency component here. As sir already explained your paper, I'll give a revision of this one. Your message signal, actually in this communication, why we are going for the modulation is first important thing, right? So what is actually a modulation? Modulation is nothing but you are combining your low frequency signal to a higher frequency signal. Now comes what is your lower frequency signal, the message which I am transferring. This is my message, my speech signal. The human speech signal or whatever the speech signal or the message signal will be always of low frequency, that is 0.3 k to 0.3 kilohertz to 3 kilohertz. That is very low frequency, and that cannot be transmitted to a very long distance communication. See, I am sitting at my college and giving all the lecture to you people, and how you people are getting all this one. I can't shout more than in a higher pitch, not in a higher frequency. I can't shout, so that directly my voice can be audible to you people to your home, isn't it or not? So my voice is a low frequency message signal. Whatever I am transmitting, whatever I am saying is a message that has to be reached to you people, that you people are receivers. I'm the transmitter, but my message signal is of very low frequency. So as to increase, as to communicate, as to send this particular message signal for the communication, what we are doing, we are adding or superimposing this high frequency component or the high frequency signal to a lower frequency signal, and that particular high frequency signal is called as your carrier frequency signal. This is called as your carrier signal. The carrier signal is nothing but which carries your message signal, a low signal, to the destination. Means we are superimposing the low frequency to the higher frequency, and then we are transmitting to a particular channel, then it is given to the receiver. So this is what the high frequency component is termed as carrier, and this entire process is called as a modulation. Now for the short distance transmission of information is called as baseband transmission. Baseband transmission means there is no kind of modulation. Directly you can send your message signal from transmitter to the receiver. The signal where there is no kind of modulation is called as your baseband transmission. Okay, next, the source could be in continuous form in case of analog communication, and in discrete signals, that is in case of your digital communication. So in this semester, actually the communication is of two types. One is analog communication and second one is digital communication. For this particular semester, in the present semester, you people are seeing what is about analog communication, the whole criteria, from where it has been originated, how, why we are using this, then afterwards how the terminology has been increased in the present era, how, why we are going for the digital communication. That will be seeing in the next semester. Okay, so analog communication is completely dealing with your continuous waveforms. Continuous waveforms, that is all dealt with the analog communication. Now as era has been increased, technology has been increased widely, then afterwards in the next time we will be seeing what is actually digital communication and how discrete signals will be modulated. Okay, so further communication, further we'll move into the subject deeply. We should know basically what is actually the block diagram of your communication system, means the whole principle how the communication system is working. So we have to know what actually the process is going, how your message signal is being converted, then how it is being modulated, then how it is transmitted to the particular receiver, then again how receiver will be receiving. All this thing we have to know. So as to know all this principle of operation of your communication system, let's go and let's quickly see what is the block diagram. Here in this block diagram of the communication system, we are having this particular boxes or the blocks. In the first one, we are having the message source. Message is nothing but your information source. This message source or the information source is the one which is used to produce the required data. See what is meant by, for example, message source or the information source is nothing but me. What I am giving you the particular data or the particular message which you require, isn't it or not? You require, you are having syllabus of analog communication and I am giving the data of that particular. So I am the information source or I am the message source to your people. Now I am giving you the message. So this input message is then given to the input transducer. Now what is meant by input transducer? See what I'm technically, no, normally I'm giving my message signal. This is just a voice signal, isn't it or not? So this has to be converted into the electrical signal. Why? Because the all transmission what we are doing, this transmission is all done in the electromagnetic waves. So as to transfer all this information, we have to convert our message signal into the electrical signals. So as to convert that message signals, your voice signals or your data into the electrical signals, we are using an input transducer. Now this converted electrical signal is then given to your transmitter. See, here is a transmitter. In this transmitter only we are having the modulation technique. Here only the modulation process will be done. Means here you are superimposing your carrier signal over to the message signal. So means you are combining your lower frequency signal and the higher frequency signal. Lower frequency signal means your message signal that is combined with your higher frequency signal, that is nothing but your carrier signal. Then it is transmitted, that particular modulated signal is transmitted to a channel. Now you will get to know what is meant by channel, isn't it? So you might be knowing, you have everyone will be saying it. Before going to someone, we have to go to a particular channel or through a particular source of medium. You have to go to the right path, right? So here channel means the medium through which the message signal transfers from transmitter to the receivers. Okay, if I say in different words, the function of the channel is to provide the physical or wireless communication between the transmitter and the receiver. So the channel is nothing but the medium which takes your transmitter signal to the receiver signal. But in this channel, these channels are categorized into two types. First one is wide channels, or second one are your wireless channels. So in the first wide channels, the physical connection will be placed between your transmitter as well as your receiver. Now what is meant by physical connection? It might be your optical fibers. There are optical fibers you might be knowing. Then you are having coaxial cables or twisted pair cables. So all these are your wide communication. I'll give you a quick example for that one. You might be having city cable or Dish TV, Tata Sky and Airtel Dish, that all you are having. So the dish which you are having at the terrace or your balcony, that is having a wire, that through that particular wire that is directly connected to your TV. So the wire which is connected to your antenna, that is your Tata Sky dish, and to the your TV, that is your channel through which the signal is passed, and the dish which you are using, that is your transmitter, and a TV where you are seeing and the listening, seeing the pictures, seeing the videos, and you are listening to the songs, music, everything, that is your receiver part. So that kind of communication, that kind of channels are called as your wide channels. Now when we are going for the wireless channels, in wireless channel there is no physical connection between your transmitter as well as the receiver. For that also we'll take a quick example, like a modem, Wi-Fi modems, and your mobile phones or your laptops, whatever you are using nowadays. So your modem is directly connected, right? So you are having a direct connect, you are having a wide connection to your phone or a laptop or something? No. So that all are your wireless channels. To that particular one you are getting the information, but that information is transferred by using your electromagnetic waves, and that are completely wireless. So this is the difference between your wide channels as well as your wireless channels. Okay, so after this you are having in this channel, there is a noise and the distortion will be added compulsory when you are transmitting your transmitted signal or the modulated signal. When it is transmitted through a particular channel, there is for sure a kind of distortion or noise will be added to this one. So there is some bit difference between your distortion as well as the noise. Today we will see what is actually distortion and what is noise. Distortion is nothing but that there will be some change in the original shape of your message signal. So if you consider you are having a sinusoidal wave, okay, but if there is a kind of distortion, then in that sinusoidal wave some kind of changes like sawtooth wave will be occurring. So means there is some kind of distortion in your message signal. But where it comes to the noise is completely an unwanted signal will be added to your message signal. So that is a bit difference between your distortion as noise. Distortion is nothing but there will be some change in your message signal, okay, but whereas noise is completely one unwanted random signal will be added to your message signal. So that are the difference between distortion and noise, and for sure there will be some distortion and some noise that will be occurred when you are transmitting your message signal or the modulated signal from channel to the receiver. Now comes to the function of the receiver. What actually receiver does? What we have said in the transmitter is nothing but it's doing the modulation part. Means the receiver, it is combining your message signal as well as your carrier signal. So the receiver should do completely opposite principal operation of your transmitter. Means it should separate your carrier signal as well as your what we say message signal. So the receiver is to reproduce the original message signal from the distorted signal, and it should give the input of it. Okay, so whatever you are having the distortion what you occurred here, that has to be removed. So this modulated signal here, what we are having plus this distortion which is given here at the receiver side, you will just remove the distortion and the modulated signal is given to the transducer, means output transducer. Here in the output transducer, what it does, in the input transducer what it does, it actually takes the original message signal, then it is converted into electrical signals, right? But whereas in the output transducer, it converts the electrical signal or electrical message signal into the original form, what it has done, then it is giving to the destination. For all this process, we'll give an example of a simple example as you people could be knowing or you will be remembering. It will take a loudspeaker in the mic. You are just according to your message signal, you have low frequency message signal you are transferring. That mic is taking that input transducer is converting into electrical signal, then it is modulating in the transmitter side, it is modulating with the higher frequency signal, then through channel means through that particular wire it is transmitting to that particular channel. In case of there is some disturbance or there is a movement in the wire, then you will getting a distortion, right? Plus that particular addition of distortion, it is given to the receiver. But if you are having a proper transducer, it separates the distorted signal and the original signal will be obtained, and that louded signal will be heard by all the receiver side people, isn't it? So I hope you are clear with this block diagram of communication system. It's my request to students to listen to the videos what faculty is doing. Everyone is doing really hard work, so please to listen to the videos, ask the doubts, so that we'll also get interested as students are listening to us. So I hope you are clear with this communication system block diagram. In case if you are having any doubts, please do let me know. Okay, let's just move to the next topic. Now we'll see what are kinds of modulation. As we have said, I'm also giving a simple definition so that you can remember what is actually definition of modulation. The process of superimposing the low frequency signal, that is nothing but your message signal, to your high frequency signal, that is your carrier signal, is called as your modulation. Means you are adding, you are merging, or you are superimposing your message signal with your carrier signal, and that kind of modulation you are called as your that is called as your modulation. Now here the modulation are of two types. One is your continuous wave modulation and the second one is your pulse modulation. Now see what is continuous wave. As you can see in this figure, this is how your analog signal is visible, and here we are having this continuous wave. All this kind of modulation what we are seeing in analog communication mostly is of continuous wave modulation. Then next one is you are having a pulse modulation. So for this pulse modulation, the waveform which is available here, which is shown, this is how you are doing the modulation technique on this particular pulse waves. Okay, I'll just give you a quick tree of your modulations. So this is the all modulations what you are having both in analog and digital. These are the kinds of modulation which we will be using in communication system, both for the analog communication as well as the digital communication. So this is the tree of your modulation techniques. So first one is what kind of modulation. As we have already said, there will be a continuous wave modulation and a pulse modulation or a pulse digital modulation. In this first here we are seeing the continuous wave modulation. We are having two kinds of techniques. First one is amplitude modulation and second one is angular modulation. I think Shrikant sir has told very clearly about the modulation techniques, but just for the revision purpose, I'm just once again revising for you people. See here in continuous wave modulation we are having amplitude modulation, then angular modulation. This can also be said as angle modulation. In this one we are having frequency modulation and phase modulation. So in continuous wave modulation overall we are having three kinds of modulation: amplitude modulation, frequency modulation and phase modulation. Then comes to your pulse digital modulation or pulse modulation. Here we are having the analog modulation. Here in this semester in analog communication we will be seeing the techniques of continuous wave modulation, that is nothing but amplitude, frequency and phase. Then we will be seeing the analog modulation techniques, that are nothing but your pulse amplitude modulation, pulse duration, nothing but pulse width modulation and pulse position modulation, that are PAM, PPM and PWM. These are the pulse modulation techniques based on analog modulation. Now in the digital modulation also we are having different kinds of techniques that are nothing but your pulse code modulation, then discrete modulation, then you are having delta modulation, adaptive delta modulation and differential pulse code modulation. There are four different kinds of techniques which will be used in digital modulation, that we will be seeing in digital communication. But for analog communication overall you have to see amplitude modulation, frequency modulation and phase modulation in your continuous wave modulation, right? Then from analog modulation you are having these three: pulse amplitude modulation, pulse width or pulse duration modulation, that is nothing but PWM. Then you are having pulse position modulation. So these are the different kinds of techniques which are used in your analog and as well as in your digital communication. Now very importantly, why actually we need modulation, why we require actually modulation? Without modulation is not okay? So everyone might be having doubt, right? So the very first particular criteria where we will be seeing why actually we need modulation is first one, reduction in height of the antenna. I'll start this topic with giving a simple example. Suppose in your grandmother's house you have been seeing, if someone is having some villages or whatever it may be, so where at the time in the last 30 years might be you are having a larger height of antenna, right? Very high antenna where you will be connecting the wires and that is connected to your TV. how much higher antenna, at that particular one you will be having a signal, but then also you'll be having a very low frequency, and there might be a picture distortion, or else some voice distortion will be always occur. So what actually happens, why we need modulation is to reduction or to reduce the height of the antenna. Now you might be getting a question, how the antenna height will be reduced by using this modulation. So if we'll see an example, suppose L is equals to wavelength lambda divided by 4. This is the formula for your height of the antenna. Now what is the lambda? That is the wavelength. So that is given a wavelength of the light, and that is given as velocity by frequency. As you people know that velocity formula or the velocity value is given as 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. So for this one I am considering two frequencies, one is low frequency and one is high frequency. The low frequency what I am considering is 20 Hz or 20k, whatever it may. So if I divide with this one, I substitute the value, and if I divide with this one, then again I am substituting this lambda value to the length formula, then overall I'll get an answer of 3750 kilometers height of antenna should be given, or should be placed, that height of antenna has to receive the signal. So means if your frequency is very low, the antenna height should be increased. See, in case if I am considering for the next case or the second condition where I am increasing the antenna frequency, I am increasing the frequency to 20 kilohertz. So here I am using the 20 kilohertz frequency. Then if I am calculating all this value, lambda value, then I am substituting in the length. Then at that point I'll get an antenna height of 3.75 kilometers, which is easily applicable, right? This antenna we can easily place. So what we are doing, in case if you are decreasing the frequency, then antenna height will be increased, and that height of antenna placing that lengthy antenna or the tall antenna is completely difficult. We can't place such an antenna. So if you are increasing the frequency, then your antenna height will be reduced. So this is the reason we are saying why we need modulation. But actually modulation, what we are doing, a higher frequency signal is superimposed on your lower frequency signal. So here you are 20, if 20 Hertz was your message signal, what we are doing, we are adding some kilohertz of frequency, means your carrier signal is added, then your higher frequency signal is added, then frequency has been increased, then antenna height is reduced. I hope it is clear to you people. Okay, then next we are having avoid mixing of signals. Why we are saying that avoid mixing of signals? Suppose there is a, I said there is a continuous wave, either it may be pulses, either it is a sinusoidal signal. So my voice, whatever I am getting and whatever I am recording, it will be in continuous forms. At some point I am having my peak is very high, at some points my peak is very low, but for that particular point, according to that, the carrier is added. For the low frequency signal, you're adding some higher carrier signal. If my voice is my message signal is somewhat higher comparatively, then some low carrier is been added. So accordingly different channels, means different carrier frequencies are applied to different message signals. So there is no kind of mixing of all signals at a time. So that is the one good thing we need. Why that is the reason we are going for the modulation. Then next comes very importantly here, multiplexing. What actually, for every student of engineering, especially EC who study digital electronics, multiplexing is obviously they'll get an idea of 4/1 marks, 8/1 marks, etc., isn't it? So it's nothing but number of inputs that are multiplexed to get a single output. So if you are having a number of inputs, means number of message signals separately you are having. So for each single message signal, a particular high frequency or the carrier frequency signal is been added, and they are combined at a time and then given to as a simple message signal with the fluency. So that is the reason we require multiplexing, and for in this purpose, for communication system especially, we are using frequency division multiplexing. Means your frequency is to be divided, then after that we are doing the multiplexing for different frequencies. If consider if you have 4/1 mux we are using, so my frequency is divided into 4 different parts, then I am adding the carrier signal, then afterwards we are combining, then as a single message signal, modulated signal we are giving. So here multiplexing, for this multiplexing we are using this modulation is been used. Then actually next we are having the high bandwidth. Of course the bandwidth will be increased because we are increasing the frequency over here. And then lastly we are having the improves the quality of the reception. Why we are saying the improves the quality of the reception? Because so whenever you are using this, actually in a simple words, the effect of noise is not completely, but it can be reduced greatly. Efficiently the effect of noise can be reduced. So that's the reason we are going for the modulation. So I hope you are clear with the why we are need modulation, what is modulation, then why we require modulation is clear. Okay, next we are seeing types of modulation. As we have said, for the continuous wave modulation we will be seeing, in continuous wave modulation we are having three techniques. First one is amplitude modulation, second one is your phase modulation, and frequency modulation. I'll just explain about amplitude modulation as already Srikanth sir has been told, I think, but I'll give a quick review of this one. Then in the next class we'll clearly see the different in time domain and frequency domain what is actually amplitude modulation. So the definition for this your amplitude modulation is nothing but amplitude of your higher frequency signal, that is nothing but your carrier signal, is varied in accordance with your message signal. So that is nothing but the what actually it means, you are varying your carrier signal in accordance. What you are varying in your carrier signal, as you said, it is amplitude modulation, so only amplitude of your carrier signal has to be varied. Then you should be in mind, there should be in mind that frequency and phase of the carrier should be constant, means that should not be changed. Okay, what it was first there for initially what it was there, that should be remaining after the modulation also. So your frequency and phase of the carrier will be unchanged, and amplitude of the carrier is varied in accordance with your message signal. Now can you tell me what is your amplitude? That is nothing but your peak to peak value of a message signal. So this peak to peak value of the message signal of your carrier is varied in accordance to your message signal. So if you consider this is your message signal, that is a transmitting signal, this is superimposed modulated with your carrier signal, then this will be changed here. The amplitude, see what you are seeing here, amplitude, the amplitude of your message signal will be changed or varied in accordance with your message signal. See, this is the message signal, this is the message signal. So the amplitude of your carrier is completely changing with your transmitted signal, but there should be a condition that the frequency and the phase of the carrier should be unchanged. Similarly, we'll see what is phase and frequency modulation. You might be getting an idea clearly now what is phase modulation. The method of varying the phase of your carrier signal in accordance with your message signal. And here what should be the condition? The frequency and the amplitude should be unchanged. They both should be same. Then next, lastly, we are seeing the frequency modulation, the method of varying the frequency of your carrier signal or a higher frequency signal in accordance with your low frequency signal or the message signal. And here the condition should be phase and amplitude of the carrier signal should be unchanged. So this was the introduction of your modulation, analog modulation, what are the different kinds of modulation techniques. Then you have seen what is actually how many kinds of modulations are there, what you are seeing in this semester, why we need actually modulation in this class. So I hope you people are clear. If there is any doubt, please let me know. Okay, so let's stop for today's class. Thank you.